Common sense media activated.
Live from the 210, it's the Wave of the Few Short Show, and we are your hosts, Mr. Trey M. Carr, and I am E. James.
Welcome everyone to Wave of the Few Short, episode 17. We're just a few fellas navigating the waters of life. And in this week's episode, we're going to be talking about Apple's new Vision Pro and the future of AR. But before we get into that, how are you lovely gentlemen doing?
Oh, I'm doing absolutely fantastic, my kind sir. And how are you guys doing today? How's everybody feeling, man? How's the wave?
Feeling good, feeling fresh.
Feeling stressed. I want Miami to beat Denver. Jimmy Buckets, baby. Other than that, I've got my tea, and I'm feeling quite proper.
Keep the pinky up, dog. Just like SpongeBob. Pinky up.
There you go. Go. Pinky up. Yeah. So, it's Pride Month, everybody. Shout out to our friends, family, and anybody else in that community. It's your time to celebrate. Get down with the get down. Would it be messed up if I played Village People later on in this clip? We're going to get canceled now.
Young man. Yeah.
That's it.
That's all it took.
Yeah. It is. No, that's cool. That's cool. Celebrate.
Man, I don't know what it is, but pride parades are something fierce, man. Like they're good times. Like if you ever find yourself down with one, if you got friends or family members, support them by doing something like that. Go drink some booze and walk around all day. Just dress appropriately.
Yeah.
I've never been to a gay bar, but I always heard like they have the best playlist.
Yeah, they're meant to
dance.
Guy
I work with.
Yeah,
a guy I work with, he was like, dude, we would go to the gay bar. He's like, man, they had all the songs. I was like, damn, really? So one day I might have to check one out. We'll see. But I got a funny story for you guys. Wow. So in the spirit of Pride, well, before I get to the story, in the spirit of Pride Month, I want to ask y'all, like, are there any influential artists, characters, anybody that you thought was like think is super cool or has had any kind of impact on your life?
Well, yeah, like Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
It was real iconic. I always loved his music. Icon. Yeah, I loved his music. Yeah. Loved his way of life. It was cool, man. It's a bunch of artists that always crossed that line and always kind of played that a little bit just to kind of get recognition and stuff. And yeah, it was like an image thing and it was popular. And it made you think differently, you know?
Totally.
This one
what about you, Trey?
Got released a little later on in his life, but Ricky Martin, dude. I know it's like a weird one, but my grandma used to play the shit out of Ricky Martin, man. She had the 626 Mazda back in the day with the cassette and the CD player. It was like 99, like she was ahead of her time. And she used to play Ricky Martin all the time. Living La Vida Loca. She played that CD.
She liked Johnny Mathis too.
Yeah, I know. It's so strange to me that like those are probably like if she could name a top 5 or at least a top 10, those would be 2 of probably her favorite artists of all time, and they both probably be higher on the list. So
probably
shout out to them, man. Ricky Martin and Johnny Mathis both make great music. It's a good time to listen to, and power to the people.
Yeah. And rest in peace to our dear grandmother.
Man,
that's crazy. Yeah, I forgot. I didn't know about the Ricky Martin. I knew about the Johnny Mathis. But when you said Ricky Martin, I was like,
yeah, she used to play a lot of Ricky Martin, man. She went through a phase. It'd be funny. It was like going to church. It was Kirk Franklin coming back. It was Ricky Martin.
She was dang.
It was wild.
I just think about it. What's his name? Chris Rock, when he was doing big. I think it was Bigger and Blacker. He was talking about Ricky Martin, living la vida loca, come on!
Yeah, like Flair's jacket out.
All right, so I got a funny story. In the late 90s, so my icon is George, like I would say maybe George Michael. I always thought that dude was dope. I mean, everybody knows Careless Whisper.
Yeah,
I mean, the Jitterbug way back when he was with Wham, Last Christmas, all the joints, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't really pay attention, to like who was gay and straight because I was a kid, a teenager, I was in my own kid mind, right? And I think I was 16 or 17. And my mom and dad were at work. I was sitting in the living room. I'm watching TV. And I forgot the name of the song. I do this every time I tell the story. But it's the song that goes, ooh, ooh, baby, baby. That's a dope song. It's funky. I'm like the bass line. It's like, dude, it's all like something Janet Jackson would have done. You know what I mean? Like, man, why didn't they ever collaborate? Can you imagine George Michael and Janet Jackson? Just as an aside, that would have been dope. But anyway, I had that Janet Jackson vibe. And it's like he's sitting in this like leathery outfit and he's on a couch. I have to pull the mic closer to me because I'm leaning back in my chair. And he's just sitting there like, doing this, just looking all cool and stuff, right? And he's just like, yeah. And he's flipping the screen and they're showing people dancing in virtual reality, right? Like, or AR, because they're popping up, it's like holograms type things.
Yeah.
And it shows all these different people dancing. I'm like, that's kind of cool. And it's couples of all kinds. But then this is when it hit me that George Michael was gay, or I had a suspicion. There's a scene they show him dancing and water's pouring down over him and he's doing this. And I was like, huh, interesting. So then I'm like pondering, right? My mom gets home and I go, hey, Mom. And I'm acting like I discovered some shit, right? I'm like,
did you know?
Well, I go, I think George Michael's gay. And she looked at me like, man, he been gay since the Jitterbug. What are you talking about?
Dang.
So yeah, shout out to George Michael, man. Like, man, I love that dude, man. I mean, Elton John's got some tracks too, though. I mean, you can't.
Oh yeah, Saturday Night's All Right, all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. So my son, one of his favorite songs was by Elton John from that movie, the one with the Sing with all the little animals.
Oh yeah,
and the gorilla does. Or I think it's a gorilla. I'm still standing. That was Ants. That was his jam. My son was getting down to that song all the time. So all right, well we can move on because we got some deep topic to get into, and I'm really excited about that. But before we do that, do y'all have any other gratitude, shout outs, anything of that nature that you wanna put out there?
Just a random shout out. This one's it's gonna sound cocky, but shout out to like me and my family. This is 17th episode. Like I was born on the 17th. My sister was born on the 17th, so it's like a cool number for me.
There you go.
So I'm excited for this one, man. Let's go.
Nice. I like it. Hey, that's a good positive vibe, man.
I like it.
That deserves a clap right there.
Yeah.
You got anything, Car?
Yeah. Just shout out to Booty Pants once again for being dope.
I'll second that. I will definitely second that. I'm going to shout out my folks for giving me peace for 3 weeks. They have my kids right now.
Oh.
So they're I've been able to sleep in like nobody's business because jet lag is real. It never used to affect me. But since they're 2 hours behind, they're out in the West Coast. Coming back, I'm like, man, it's already 9 o'clock. I was getting up early there, going to bed early. I felt like super cool and responsible. And I come back, I'm like, everything's 2 hours ahead. It's like, oh my God, I'm late to everything. So, but thank y'all so much for taking the kids because we needed that break. We're getting a lot of things done, enjoying each other. Man, we went out on a date night in the middle of the week.
Nice.
Oh, you know what? Can I give a second shout out before we get rolling? I'm going to give a shout out to Kevin. This dude, I'll protect his last name, to protect the innocent. But he works over at Nona, which is a dope spot. It's a like real Italian, not American style, where we have too much cheese and too much sauce. The chef is from Italy. Great food. They're right below Silo off of 1604. We went there. He hooked us up, comped our meal, and we hadn't seen this dude in like over 10 years. He used to date my sister-in-law. And I was like, I think that guy's Kevin. Saw him and I went, hey. He looked at us. Hey, man, my meal or our meals and drinks and dessert came out to like 30 some bucks.
Nice,
man.
I gave a righteous tip to the waitress because he wasn't even our server. I just happened to see him, so I made sure I made up for it by tipping her heavy. So I hope she went home happy. But yeah, so that's my second shout out, and I hope I don't get you fired.
God dang, man! I just can't imagine a house with no kids. Your house must be so quiet. It must be amazing.
It is, and it's also it's one of those things. Yeah, a little bit because I'm used to little voices.
Yeah,
you know, I sit here in my office and I turn over. I'm like, they're not in here yet. No one's bothering me. You would think that I'd be sitting here playing video games this whole time and just having a good time playing guitar, but there's just been stretches of sitting here for like 15, 20 minutes and doing nothing.
It's nice.
Because I don't have to do anything. I've never been a person to enjoy silence like that because, you know, I talk a lot. So
I was going to say
absolutely lovely.
I was going to say last night when we talked, you were living your best life, dude. Eating French fries in the middle of the night. Crazy, dude. Acting up, dude.
Acting like a rebel.
I know, man.
I feel like it'd be weird because like whenever the silence hits, like that's when you have to be like
what's going
spider
on?
senses tingling.
Uh-huh.
Like, like you gotta be, and you gotta creep around the corner, make no noise, see what's going on. It's like, what are they doing? So man, good for you, good for your wife, and I'm glad you are getting to enjoy that, man.
Yeah,
it's a blessing. That's what's up.
It's giving me a new vision on life. So I'm gonna let you guys kick this off. But before we actually talk about the product themselves, can I give a couple of definitions?
Sure.
Because we hear AR, augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality thrown around. If you want a very simplified way of looking at it, AR, and this is according to LifeWire, and I thought this was really good the way they explained it, or their simple explanation: virtual elements overlaid on the real world. Virtual reality is a fully virtual experience. So, like when we were all younger, and they would show the guy with the glasses, it's like, I could touch everything. But it's not really there. Whereas augmented reality, you might be looking at your wall, but then there's a dog that's running across that's not actually there. And then mixed reality is kind of the anchored elements that can interact with the real world. And then another term that I've heard very rarely, but XR, I guess it's just the umbrella term for all three of those. But I kind of want to throw that out there before we start actually talking about the Vision Pro, because a lot of those things are used interchange, or those R's are used interchangeably.
You are very right, man. I say this is truly the beginning of the wave of the future. On this one, guys. Truly.
Yeah.
Apple has taken it to the next level. I think he showed a great clip with Mark Zuckerberg being interviewed about this Vision Pro. And I think it was a great take that he had as well in his own right. But it's a different product. It's a completely different product than what you're getting from the other competitors. Apple decided to go in a completely different way with this very expensive, very next level Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
The name like invokes like a lot of serious talk and serious money.
Yes, it does.
But yeah, they
$3,500.
Yeah, yeah. But they call it a spatial computer. They have a bunch of buzzwords that are kind of talking about the way they augment reality and how you can still be in the world by being kind of disconnected with your goggles. But you know, they did it. I think they knocked that presentation out of the park. They had the one more thing moment. They opened it up. They had a whole bunch of segments to where it kind of put it in real life practical applications. And I saw MKBHD's video on it like that night when I woke up. I woke up in the morning early, let my dog out and stuff. And yeah, video got posted like at 2 a.m. and he looked like stymied. He looked like impressed and didn't really know how to make of what he went through when he put the headset on. But yeah, he kind of summarized it in a way, I'm paraphrasing, but he said it was going to be a toy for the rich and a muse for the creative.
Oh yeah, I thought that was so beautifully put by him. So some of the design elements, let's kind of, I don't want to like push us in a certain direction. Let's just free flow talk about this thing. I want to talk about the look. Okay, so you've got these goggles that are, and for those of you who can't see on, because we're on audio show, but I've got my thumbs kind of like binocular hands almost, but it's very smooth looking. It's got an OLED screen, a high res, like I guess basically their version of Retina, well, their Retina display type thing, but in the glasses. And it's cool because when you're looking at content, you can actually turn a digital crown. If you have an Apple Watch or you have the Apple, what are they, the AirPods Max, the over-the-ear headphones, you can use the digital crown, or sorry, the crown that's on top of the glasses to determine how much of the world around you is in the vision or out of it. Or my hands are going the opposite direction, but yeah, you know, you can do that blending. So for a person that's looking at you wearing them, they get like a projection of what your eyes see on the outside. They're not see-through. It's just capturing your eyes and then pushing it to the outside so someone can see that you're looking or you're paying attention to them. I see you. But are they? Depending on what mode you're in. So I'd like to see that in test. But it's got an external battery. It's not attached to the device. It lasts 2 hours.
Yeah, that's a caveat for me.
Yeah, I mean, for $3,500, you know, you would hope that it would last more than 2 hours.
It does plug into the pack, so you can have continuous use. But yeah, I guess the first iteration of this is for you to take your calls and do your quick things and then go back to your couch and plug yourself back in.
Right.
But yeah, so there's a lot of videos showing people in their lonely little apartments with their goggles on. There's also strange ones where like the dad getting the soccer ball kicked at him. And he's like,
yeah.
Oh, I'm aware I can catch this, but like, yeah, that dad's gonna be like, don't kick anything towards me when I got my $3,500 thing on me.
You better leave me alone.
In the face.
Yeah, dude. And it's a piece of glass and it's a piece of metal. So that's
So this is using heavy AR. What I thought was interesting too is there are cameras all over tracking your eyes.
12
mics,
cameras.
Yes. Thank you. All these cameras, and then this kind of makes me feel a little weird being a security guy. Now we're all tech guys here. Well, Carr and I are in the tech industry. Trey is a tech enthusiast. He doesn't do it he doesn't do it by trade. But I wouldn't call him a slouch either. He's definitely no curmudgeon, or not a curmudgeon, but like, you know what I mean. You're
I like that.
You're more skilled than the average user.
Yeah, for sure.
In terms of technology. So I give you your props there. But I came into this discussion not wanting to look at all this information because I wanted to just be who I am and wave my AR, VR, whatever are. It ain't ready yet. It's stupid. I ain't wearing no goggles on my eyes to enjoy products. Because if you ask me what my perfect product would be, and I can't believe I'm going to quote or I'm going to mention Spider-Man, but those glasses Tony Stark gave him, that's what I want. I want to be able to put on my glasses like this and then everything's built in. It's ready to go. I don't have to wear any stupid heavy goggles, none of that. But I had to also understand that you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And if there's a company that could do it, it would be Apple or Google, because you had at one point the Google Glass.
The Google Glass.
It's just ahead of its time.
Yeah,
and they were just what? That was what, 2014?
Yeah.
That was
and they were using
10 years ago.
Yeah, man. Well, they were using it in the what do you call it? They went from it trying to be a consumer product to having it being used by businesses, and then I believe they stopped making it.
Yeah, they stopped supporting it, but that was like the legs that it stood on for commercial use.
So going back to the security aspect and whatnot, they have this thing where we're talking about all the cameras and the tracking, because it's recording all your eye movements. Marcus Brownlee, MKBHD, he was talking about how it was cool that he could look at something and it would move to that.
Yeah.
And then you could do something like poke or pinch.
Tap your fingers. You pinch your fingers.
Or tap, right. And or pull. And I was like, okay, that is legit cool. That's pretty cool. And now I don't use. I've worn PlayStation VR. I've never worn a Meta Quest, and we'll talk about them here in a little bit. Never worn the Quest. I don't know if you guys have experience with either of those, but as far as I know, those are controller based, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another one that I saw mentioned, like the new, I think it's the new PS VR has the ability to use your fingers as well. Is that correct?
Slightly.
Ooh,
kind of.
So I was like, I think it's like you can't use them within the game, but there's like some gesturing, I guess, that it recognizes.
Yeah, it's rudimentary, but the ones that really do the hand tracking is the Steam ones, the Knuckles that they got. Those are interesting, but they're still kind of slow. They're not as dynamic as you would have your normal hand. I've had a lot of experience with VR. Our good friend, she gave me a housewarming gift. Her and her husband, they gave me a VR headset just to warm the house up, which it did, made my computer hot. But yeah, that was cool. I had it set up in this room for a little while, and I got to experience a lot of different things. I mean, it's one of the first kind of, I got the HTC Vive.
Gotcha.
So that was one of the first runs of it, like kind of being successful and everything, but it's still tethered to a machine. You're still cabled up. There's a whole bunch of things that you got to do to kind of work around it for it to be a little bit more seamless. But once you get the illusion going, it's nice, man. Like there's a bunch of stuff, but the only thing it was able to do is just create scenarios based on games and whatever the developers of those games would want to present to you. So it went from places like, shooting stuff in a super hot VR to going underwater and seeing a whale fly or swim over my head like it was flying. That was insane. I love that, man. There's a lot of experiences like that I treasure and I value. And there's still some sort of boundary that you're in between that and that, because you're still staring through some goggles. You still have a limited view. So I'm curious to see like how seamless this view is, because apparently those screens are pretty sharp. They got to tackle like two things there. They got to tackle that view distance between your eyes and the actual like ridges of the screen. And then they have to mitigate something called the screen door effect, where your eyes can actually perceive the pixels in the screen. So I think at this resolution, this resolution is just about 4K is what they're saying. I wonder if that's good enough for it to minimize that screen door effect. But they're saying they're high refresh rates. They're saying when you move around in space, like everything's dynamic and stuff. So
yeah, a medium of 90 hertz on the refresh rate.
Yeah.
They said it adjusts, like if you're watching a movie, it goes up to like 96. And if you're doing something that requires less of a refresh rate, it goes down.
Yeah. So it's probably good power savings and stuff. And maybe it makes you feel like you're watching something more cinematic when it drops it down to 24 frames for a movie, right? But there's a whole bunch of different things that it's doing right now to kind of make it feel more seamless than what it was when it was just a gaming device, which is cool. It's cool. A lot of people are on the fence about it. A lot of people don't want to see it happen. A lot of people think it's a big cash grab or it's just too out of reach for the average consumer. But I think the key thing here is that they're introducing it as the Apple Vision Pro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Heavy emphasis on the Pro, because if you're we all own varying degrees of Apple products, MacBooks, phones, iPads, whatever, HomePods, whatever. Or a mix, that is. You hear Pro and you automatically think, okay, this ain't for the faint at heart. Just like when the original iPhone came out, it was that thick metal, kind of actually looks like this, right?
Yeah.
You got that metal around there and then that screen on top. It's kind of got that similar deal going on. But this is going to be for the early adopters, the Apple loyalists, the tech enthusiasts, companies who are, and developers who are looking to build something new.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that this thing is not coming out till next year. Did they say January?
Early. No, they said early 2024.
Oh, okay.
That's first quarter to me. That means first quarter.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe as late as second quarter if they don't get whatever.
Yeah, production numbers that they need or whatever at that time.
So they show you just how well the Apple stuff works in their demos. There was something that was really cool in their, it's called Vision OS, correct?
Let's get a fact check, I think.
I'm pretty sure it's called Vision OS. But there was something really cool that they showed like on FaceTime, where
where
you're talking
like,
to somebody.
Yeah, and it puts you in the room with that person.
Yeah, it creates like a virtual representation of you. And I got with what Marcus Brownlee was saying, because he was like, it kind of takes away from the human interaction aspect. I'd rather just see me. But if you're wearing those goggles, it's understandable why they couldn't see you.
Yeah.
The one thing, and I tried to talk about it twice earlier, and it's coming back to me. But as a security person, the one thing that kind of makes me feel weird, I mean, I know we have our fingerprints and facial ID, but then now they have this thing called optic ID.
Yeah, that retinal scan.
Right. It's scanning your eye, because
everyone's
eyes, it's unique. Like it's a cool feature. I'm just, it's making me feel weird, especially if you're an Apple user, right? Because it's like, okay, you got my fingerprint, my face, and now my eye. And if I talk to my device, you've also got my voice.
I was about to start making fake people, bro.
Yeah.
Right. There's
androids,
right?
You're just going to go to work one day and there's going to be an android in your desk. Like,
right.
Who are you? I'm Trey. Who are you?
But you're giving up more of yourself for these products, right?
Yeah.
And they do have a good track record of not. Well, they have a good security track record. I'll say that much. They're very trusted, but there also comes just that, I think, what is a healthy amount of paranoia and skepticism, because just to pay to play, you got to give up more of yourself to be able to play,
Yeah.
So that's a little, that does make me a little uncomfortable.
I think it takes that whole, you need a Facebook sign in to use the Meta Quest to a very personal level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the fact that
absolutely.
Just the fact that you give up a doppelganger of yourself to represent you in that space instead of a memoji like we have right now with our cute little characters on our phones. Like my haircut's always nice in that one. But this one, it's gonna be odd. Like there's gonna be fittings for the eye socket part and everything, and there's prescription lenses for them, which is not new. But that is gonna be. When I was talking to you guys yesterday, I kind of felt like this is the first time where something felt like actually the future. Like it really did feel like, damn, this is where the future, like the horizon looked really cool. Like the way they presented it and everything was just really, really fascinating. But on the inverse of that, the future seems kind of lonely. It seems kind of sad because, when we all first got AirPods, it was kind of a spectacle to be with them in public with your little stems sticking out of your ears. There's gonna be countless kids that are gonna just be walking around with their goofy goggles like at the mall,
Right. And it's funny because for every positive review and video I watch, I always try to find the anti.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the video by this channel called Moon, and I can send it to y'all. But it's called Apple's Vision Pro is worse than you think. And so he was talking about. The guy talked about loneliness and isolation of people. As you're collecting, when I talked about the optic ID and collecting these elements, government surveillance. You're sitting in your room with these things on, and you're not interacting with the world. You're walking around, that thing's tracking your movement in your house, and it's just like, that could be used against you. One thing that doesn't have, as we mentioned, is it doesn't have a controller, but I could see for maybe gaming or as an accessory, as an extension, because Marcus Brownlee also mentioned that there's no feedback. He said that he had a butterfly fly on his finger, but this is VR because I don't feel that.
Yeah.
But gloves. I'm almost
that's what I was
certain at
thinking.
some point you're going to have gloves that go with it.
Yeah.
That gives you those haptics, like, oh, I felt that. Oh man, I touched that. Wow. It shakes, it vibrates the hand, whatever the case may be. I could see something like that coming, but they got to get the vision right before they add the gloves. I don't think it'll be too far behind, but So the guy in the video also mentioned, and it was weird. I didn't even notice it, but he was like, the eyes are the windows to your soul. And he's like, does anybody notice how Tim Cook didn't wear the product during the keynote? And I was like, he didn't.
Yeah.
Because even, every time he's come out with a phone or an iPad, whatever, he's holding the product back to Steve Jobs. But he wasn't wearing that.
Yeah, it'd have been kind of silly if you saw his goofy goggle eyes and be like, "No, I'm going to present to you this." That would have been kind of funny. The whole WWDC thing was a little strange because did you remember when the main iOS developer guy like reached out in space and an iPad just like flew into his hand? I don't know if y'all saw that.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
It was Craig.
Craig Federighi.
Yeah,
Federighi. To full disclosure, I only looked at certain clips. I didn't watch the whole keynote. I kind of just waited and dove into like the specs and what it does.
Yeah. So there's something there that they have some sort of design language that also translates into something with their products and how they handle it. It kind of conveys some sort of weird message we don't perceive on the surface. But you're right. They didn't touch on wearing the dang thing, especially the main guy, which is interesting. But you're right. That whole eyes are the window to the soul thing. I'm starting to. It's kind of woo woo, but I'm starting to think of when natives used to say that when you do it, they would take a photo of you, it would steal your soul. Like this is the closest to come into that. If you do believe in some sort of spiritual aspect, like, yeah, dude, the eyes are the most unique part that you have on your body, aside from your fingerprints. But it's going to be alarming for a lot of older generations that didn't want to give up their freedoms and certain things too. And then the fact that they're cloning themselves kind of makes my stomach quiver a little bit,
Yeah, just upload your consciousness, man.
Yeah, that's where we're going at sooner or later.
Yeah, we're gonna
I think of what's that Futurama Attack of the Killer App episode where they have the mom's branded iPhone, but it's like an eye implant.
Yeah,
this is 20 years. Like, give it 20 years. Give it 15, 20 years. That or you get the Focus from Horizon.
Oh yeah, the little triangle.
Oh, the one that covers your ear.
It comes right here, and then it's augmented reality. We're just getting closer to those type of things. I think the biggest issue that you really have to work with it though is the loneliness aspect.
Yep.
Like once it gets to a certain point, you're dehumanizing humans, making it. Of course, you're making things easier, right? That's what technology is for. But there's a level like you should have to get up to look somebody in the eye.
Yeah.
You should have to look somebody in the eye to look somebody in the eye.
Yeah,
not through an LCD screen or a OLED screen. I said LCD. That's twice. I did that earlier too. But it's a slippery slope, man, to say the least. Where we're going, I'm excited. Unless you're like you said, a developer or got your business going, or you're just like one of those socially inclusive people, the 1%ers of the world, you're not really going to have this device. But something Mark Zuckerberg touched on, I think is actually very interesting in that interview you sent us. He said, this is going to drive the market for this way up, and the cheaper options are going to become more viable. You're thinking, oh man, $600 for PSVR 2, but then after a year of $3,500 for a Apple Vision Pro, you see everybody with their thing. You're like, might as well.
Yeah.
Might as well give me a MetaQuest. I ain't logged into Facebook in 2 years. Might as well, just get me one of those.
There are a couple of things.
It's going to be interesting.
Sorry, Trey, I cut you off.
No, you're good. It's going to be interesting for the industry as a whole. I think this is the launch pad.
There are a couple of things about Zuck I wanted to touch on because, for crying out loud, they renamed their master or parent company Meta.
Yeah.
It's banking on the metaverse. So, as mentioned, we all, or two of us, watched a quick clip with Lex Friedman. Shout out to Lex, great podcaster, great show. If you haven't heard of him, go check it out. Wears the same suit every episode. It's like Dennis the Menace.
Dang.
But no, he's great. He had Mark Zuckerberg on there, and he couldn't wait. And this is strategic, man. He asked him like right after the drop from Apple, "Hey, so what do you think?" And he gave a very diplomatic answer.
Yeah.
I was actually super surprised at how good of a response. And if I may paraphrase, the short version would be we're aiming for two different audiences. There's two different products. We're Meta's philosophy appears to be that they're looking at a more affordable price point, get everybody into it, right? And then work their way up from a price standpoint, whereas Apple seems to go, hey, let's start at the top and then we'll meet where the people are.
Yeah.
Sell people on what it could be if it's done right, so to speak. Right is subjective, but if universally the industry's going, damn, that's hot. Yeah, okay. Now I'm sold. Then they must be doing something right. And Apple's been known as a brand to do that. They make new things, but for the most part, they're known as a company to perfect things. Yeah, this technology exists. That's always, you guys remember the old wars, right? Oh, yeah. I already had that on my Android.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, for example, and my friends that are in the tech industry, forgive me if I'm mixing what some of these technologies are at their core, like ones and zeros, but the idea is there. So stuff like WiDi and wireless sharing. In Apple, that's called AirDrop.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, excuse me. Wireless sharing, AirDrop. Okay. Now, people go, WiDi. I want to send video from my screen from my phone to the TV or a projector. What is a WiDi? Wireless direct? What? No. Apple goes, we have AirPlay.
Yeah.
And people go, I want to play in the air, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's simple things like that. When they came out, they were all about skeuomorphism. Skeuomorphism, if you remember what the earlier iOS was like, you'd click a page on your phone and the page would turn.
Yeah.
So you're like, the page turned. I like that. You know what I mean? People were really in love with that. So now you got this vision thing and everyone's going, this is elegant. This is sleek. It's not super boxy. Now, they did say it's a little heavy, but for all intents and purposes, this is what a premium experience in this space looks like. So you're promising shareholders and developers and all these business people, yo, if you come in here and you develop for this product the right way, we're giving you a blank canvas to play with.
Yeah.
This is what it should look like. Okay. At minimum, this is what it should look like. People are going, oh, snap. Wow. I need to get my code into that.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Disney and Microsoft are like, we're very excited about the future of what Apple's doing. They were like, I mean, Microsoft invested in the Meta when they were, Facebook, a long time ago. And even Microsoft's like, hey, baby, look.
OneDrive ain't gonna work.
See what she got over there? That's just
look.
A little bit more booty beef cake.
When I'm with Jackie, I'm thinking of you the whole time.
But that was a big announcement for Microsoft to show Office right front and center inside of that thing. That's
dude, right?
That's 8 hours of people's days, man. Like, can you imagine if that really worked well and everything?
And I'm going to read you a quick quote just to go back to Zuck. And again, giving him credit because he had a very measured response. I'm pretty sure that he had a little bead of sweat on the other side that the camera didn't see.
Yeah.
Because it's like, dang, these guys came in and ate our lunch. I mean, you guys remember what it looked like when they showed the metaverse. And I was like, this looks like a cross of Animal Crossing and
Sims, yeah.
And a me from Nintendo. Like, I was like, that looks bad. That's really bad. This looks like, man, Minecraft looks better than this.
It's crazy.
So the quote was from a user named JM in the threads. I like to read the comments on a lot of videos and stuff. So here's the quote. People gave so much shit to him, referring to Zuckerberg. All in the metaverse and VR/AR. It must feel good to finally get some external validation that he was on to something. When Apple enters a market, they bring all the cash, customers, developers, creators, and innovation with them. And some of that will flow off and benefit Meta.
Yeah, well,
I thought that was well put. Like,
but that's it though. That's it. That's the name of the game. That's what he was talking about, man. People are going to say, I can't afford that, but I want in on this. I'm going to get this. They're going to go with the second tier unless you got $3,500 to drop. Which again, he also said they were only making 1 million units. Somebody rumor that he heard.
Yeah,
they're only making 1 million units. Of course, a start, but you know.
But here's the thing: you make 1 million units at $3,500 a pop. And people buy 75% of those, and you make millions, and only 1 million people buy your Meta Quest.
Is that $350 million?
You know what I mean? Like, take.
I did that math wrong.
Yeah, but you're gonna make, my example is basically you're gonna make more money at 3,500. You know, by when you sell less. If you get more people to buy those, then you make a bunch of products and less people buy it if you're Meta. Now, I don't know what their sales have been for the Quest. So I'm kind of just snowballing, throwing some funny money Bugs Bunny math out. But my whole point is, it's like I don't think him focusing on the number of products they're trying to put out, or number of units they're trying to put out, is the right focus per se. I mean, I get what he was saying. It felt like he was trying to give you a fact, but at the same time, it seemed kind of like him knocking them to show like only select amount of people can get this. We're trying to get everybody. It's like, well, yeah, this is a brand new product. They don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah, who's going to catch it and stuff. But yeah, that's the most diplomatic approach. I think Zuck's been a lot better at talking about stuff like that. It's come a long way.
Got the right PR people.
Yeah, it's come a long way. He's
programmed him right.
Yeah. Yeah, they plugged him in pretty good and recharged him for that interview.
He's been reprogrammed.
Yeah. But I mean,
everybody says that.
That's the best way to do it in the playbook, just to play for the rest of the market for now until Apple makes just the Apple Vision that your kids are going to get for Christmas, you know, like the more affordable one.
The Apple Vision Lite.
Yeah. Air. Apple Vision Air.
The Visionaire. He's the Visionaire.
Yeah, they could bring back the EMAX strategy and make an education-based one with limited features, you know, just...
that's indoctrinating, bro. I don't want my kid in a school like that.
Bro. So that's where we talk about like where the future comes in, man. Like there's a social responsibility that we have to obtain, that we have to maintain now with this new technology, because it has inherent problems with addictive qualities. You know what I mean? Absolutely. We've had iPad kids for 15 years already. We have had little kids stuck to their iPads and their parents' phones for a long time now. That's already a thing that can go the wrong way if you don't mitigate it right. And not knocking anybody who gives their kid an iPad. I'm just saying that there's stuff that you have to be responsible for, like screen time and all that stuff.
Absolutely. I was listening to I've mentioned this podcast every other episode, I feel like, but listening to We're Not Wrong, and they talked about the responsibility of parents managing social media. Like none of the three have kids, but I believe they all have nieces and nephews, right?
Yeah.
And one of them mentioned, well, you shouldn't block your kids from social media, because then it becomes one of those things where they're the weirdo. They're not included in the stuff that everybody's doing. And I almost wrote in an email to them to kind of like talk about what we do, but a lot of parents cover that. I actually, honestly, I forgot, but a lot of parents cover the ground that I was going to cover when I wrote into them. But I'll tell you guys what I was going to say is that you've got, as you mentioned, screen time. You've got apps where you can manage it. You as a parent should take an active stance into managing what your children do. This is also ties back into our previous episode where we discussed the Pornhub thing in Utah, right? And the social media ID or the online ID system that they're trying to do. You can manage screen time. You can filter things out at a router level, at an operating system level. You know, you could pay a third party to do it for you. There's so many options as a parent in a digital space that, thank God, my parents didn't have it when I was a kid, because, you know, I discovered some stuff I wasn't supposed to in my late teens. Yeah. And I was like, this is open. You know, but I mean, our experience online was still so much different than the experience of these kids. Like our social media was getting online in chat rooms.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, dude. And then when chat rooms started to go away, I mean, they were still around, but then you had like AOL Messenger, or you had Trillion, because you had 5 different messengers. So you would put them all together, and your social media experience would be, I'm chatting with my buddy in real time online. We're trying to plan something out. Oh, let's go read a blog. You heard of this thing called Blogger? It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mike posted yesterday. That's cool. You know what I mean? And so taking this technology and what it means is for, like, because this is just the start. This is an idea. And
it's only just begun.
Yeah, man. It's a platform to work from. They said, look, if you're going to do it like this, and handed it to them. Like I said, at a minimum, do this. Now, you start talking about the kids who are wearing these things and not going outside.
Yeah.
That's absolutely a worry for me. But parenting, go out there and say, all right, Johnny, Sally,
get up, go outside, and let's
go outside and play. Hey, my vision timed out.
Yeah. Time to take it off.
There's a real garden outside. Go play in that garden instead of playing in the garden on your goggles.
Yeah, go touch some grass.
Go stare at the sun for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And don't breathe in that smoke.
It
might be nice. They could AR the sky when we're all covered in smog and smut, you know?
Yeah, what was that thing you shared China where they got the
like in Beijing,
LED screens.
Tiananmen Square.
Yeah, in Tiananmen Square, there's just like screens that show the beautiful sky that you can't see because they're all covered in smog. It's kind of scary.
That's really bad, man. I mean, what we're referring to, and that was me making I don't want to say a joke, but I guess it's kind of a joke. What's going on with Canada and all the fires they have and all the smoke that's kind of pouring in the NYC and the DC area. So that stuff looks bad because it's orange.
Yeah, and
this looks really bad.
You can imagine how it condenses in a city center too. That's got to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now, in a situation like this, that's where VR, AR,
that's your escape.
Right. That could be useful because now you're not outside putting your lungs at risk and giving yourself potentially some form of asthma.
It's just sad. You don't want Blade Runner to be real. Like, ultimately.
No. I got a question.
What's up?
Do you think you can walk around with the Apple Vision Pro and the Dyson air filter mask like at the same time?
You look like Shredder, bro.
Just like
that would be crazy.
That's hype beast,
like Shredder.
It's full Android. Just all masked up and goggled up, and then AirPods as well. Like, damn, dude, you're just sealed off. Like,
got the AirPod Maxes over the ear, right? Just like,
you said Shredder, armor. But I thought of Dr. Claw for some reason on Inspector Gadget. I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
That's weird that the future is going to the path
present,
where we're all augmenting our senses to get a little bit more, which is cover your ears, cover your eyes, cover your mouth, all these things. Like, we're just literally just being Voldo from Soul Calibur at this point.
Man, I mean, you're right though, dude. I mean, and then we haven't even seen the injections, right?
Yeah,
or the cyborg. Like,
yeah,
I mean, we've got people with implants. Thank you, man. I mean, you've got prosthetics and things of that nature, and some that are actually like people can move the fingers. But I'm telling you, dude, I'm waiting for the day I go to the supermarket and there's that dude that just goes, he's cutting the skin in the middle of HEB, and he removes the skin and he pulls out a T800 arm. I'm like, well, I'll be looking forward to the nuke that's coming after this.
But like, I hope he doesn't check the avocados with that hand. Please, dear God, no.
And Skynet is alive, people. No.
Yeah, that is weird.
But no, man, you're right though. It is weird, Car, how people are just covering themselves up, man. What's next?
Yeah, like just
eyeballs that are Apple Vision Pro Max.
Yeah, I'm gonna trade up. I'm gonna put a down payment on my left first, and then my right.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
I'm waiting for the fertility product by Apple, the Apple Seed.
Yeah, there you go. Have a baby without having to carry it and just put it in a tube and send text messages to it. It looks like a little emoji while it's developing.
Stay in birth chambers.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, dude. Actually, that'd be kind of crazy, right? Because you're looking at this little thing as it's growing.
Like just grows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cell and
you get to talk to
It's
it.
looking at you.
Yeah. Yeah, you get to talk to it and teach it stuff, and it's born just knowing how to do stuff. Damn,
yeah, just like
we're on that path, dude.
Feeding these things information. They're already like way more advanced.
No, they're just
in a
gonna,
tube with the Apple Pro.
Yeah, you have baby with an Apple Pro Max. No, they're just gonna come out depressed, dude. That's it. They're just gonna be bummed out. They're not gonna know it. They're gonna know too much, and we're like, why?
They're like, this is life.
Put me back in the pod. Put me back in the pod. I don't like it out here.
Isn't that kind of how it really goes though? It's like, man, this is really adulthood. Take me back. Put me back. Like, I want to go. No.
I don't want to stay out here.
Wrong way.
Oh man. So yeah, the future's here. I think the future's finally here in a way. I mean, we got hoverboards, but damn, this is different. You know,
It is different.
It's a form factor.
It's different.
And it's something to touch on later, just like as an open talk. Can you imagine the convergence of the AR world and the AI world, like what we're really getting into?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, dude, we're
really getting into in this. Like, if you really want to get into that, that's a rabbit hole that I don't even think Alice wants to go down, my dog.
The company that masters both of those owns the future.
I think
for
so.
The foreseeable future. You know, you take
The company that owns them, yeah.
Yeah, you take vision as just that, a vision. Okay. And then people talk about, and this will be another episode we'll have to cover, but people talk about Chat GPT and Bard, and it's like, this is still prompts. You know what I mean? Like you're prompting. This isn't when and I think most people think of AI, and tell me if you guys think differently. We're still to a degree thinking of sentience.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not thinking of, hey, basically a search engine that can formulate stuff for you. That's more like a hyped up digital assistant.
Yeah.
Right. I'm thinking straight up like, okay, this thing is going to come, clean my room, turn the lights off, turn the lights on, cook all kinds of stuff. Like it's almost like another person.
Yeah.
With its knowledge and the things that it's able to do. That's the part that scares a lot of people. Actually, it's funny because I just started watching a video. I think that's the one I sent to you guys. It's like an hour and a half that you have to check out. But the headline in the video was like, don't bring kids into this AI world. And I'm like, what? Oh man, now I got to watch this.
Yeah.
Go down that rabbit hole. But the convergence of these two, of AI and AR, VR, XR, right? Put all that stuff together. Whoever masters both has the keys for a long time. I don't know who that would be. Could it be Apple? Maybe.
I think it's Apple if they could perfect the vision thing. All they have to do is buy whoever is,
and that's what they do.
Yeah, the other part of that world that we're talking about there, and that's what's going to happen. And then okay, now I'm really going to get crazy. And then watch something happen, and Apple has to bail out the government.
Apple Pay for the Fed. Oh man, it's crazy.
It's crazy to think about, man. All these holes, man. Damn, why this rabbit hole gets so deep?
Hey, but I mean, this is the world that we live in. If you would have asked 10-year-old me, if you would have asked 20-year-old me, would we be here today looking at this kind of stuff, like these really super smart computer systems? Sure, I would have told you we'll have super smart computers. But to get a lot closer to AI, artificial, maybe even sentience, in my lifetime, no. Yeah. I would have been like, yeah, that's not going to happen. That's some science fiction stuff. Virtual reality, I've always thought virtual reality was corny. I remember watching that movie in the 90s. What was it, Lawnmower Man?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I was like, that looks terrible, man. I was like, it's like basically Tron, but a horror film. No.
But now we're right around the corner, man. Like it's right there. It's right there. It's like 30 years away. you know?
Yeah, man. So,
yeah, man, I think we're we're rubbing sticks together right now. Really, I think that we're really close to like how the space race and like nuclear weapons. It was like a think about it, try it, boom, we're gone.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it goes like it's free for everybody. I think we're on the cusp of something like that, and it's starting with the Apple Vision Pro.
No, you know,
in my opinion, and the emergence of like AI. It's gonna
where it converges and stuff.
Yeah, it's
That's
coming.
the cycle.
It's coming.
You know where it's gonna really start though, y'all?
Where?
On the hub.
Once Vision Pro industry goes, as porn goes. That's what they always say.
That's what you did with that. What was that housewarming gift?
Hell yeah!
So that's
it's the future.
He went from Vive to Vive.
To Vive, damn.
HTC, I feel the Vive.
All jokes aside, this is a new prospect. This is a new way of life. This is a new forward-thinking measure for the next generations, and we'll see how it all plays out. We'll see when we're the old people and how the young people take it forward. It is a convergence of technology and your body and your mind. So how far are we going to get with this until, you know, all our skills are augmented and we can't survive without power and stuff? Like, that's the only thing I worry about. Like, yeah, I can wash my dishes.
I think you have a duty as a parent, especially at this day and age, to teach multiple ways of living and make sure they have like an understanding of, hey, yeah, virtual. Hey, this is real life. Hey, this is like, you know, this is how you live off the land. This is how you deal with people. This is how you traverse virtual environments. These are the dangers of all of these environments. Is like everything has its upside, and this is the danger. And then as they progress, you get more real and real with what the dangers can become. I mean, I think if you do a good job as us in this generation with the children that are really going to inherit this rapid growth of technology, then we have a chance. But if all you do is indoctrinate them to this with no
backup plan,
just no actual consequence. Like they don't think there's a consequence to this.
Yeah.
You have to convey that the danger of what can become when you create something that's a little too smart.
Yeah.
Make sure they watch Terminator. Always show your kids Terminator.
It's a rite of passage now.
I can't believe I'm going to quote Spider-Man again, but for those of you who don't know, I'm not a Spider-Man fan. With great power comes great responsibility. Seriously,
Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben, man. But he was right about that. That is something that has stuck with me. And this technology excites me. I was going to ask you guys, you know, are you feeling excited? Are you worried? A mix of both, indifferent?
For me, dude, I'm super excited. I mean, you guys said it. I'm a technology user and a slightly advanced one at that. Things like this excite me. I'm excited to see what you can do, how you can create, how you can live your life with that. But I am a little worried. There's the hint of worries there, and it's a healthy dose. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not just a pinch; it's a healthy little spoonful in there that you have to see. Like, just like, you know, you're putting pieces together, see where things are going. So when you're driving, you got to anticipate where the car is going.
Yeah,
see where we're headed with this, man.
Yeah.
So
I think
tread lightly.
I think to pun it, I'm with the vision. But there's a little bit of skepticism there too. I think there's going to be a chance where it really hits the wave, and then we all get it, and then we're all just using it in our daily lives. It's just like another cell phone. I hope, like, I think I'm going to take it as all the time I have outside of this is more precious because it's just me and what I am capable of by myself. And I think I will learn to kind of cherish that moment more. But I know some people also just want to escape. So that's going to be the inner turmoil of everybody. But in and out of that world, I think they have to get treated with the same importance now because it's here. That's it. It's here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good take. I like that.
Dude, I love the way you notate things, Carl.
He does a great job.
You really do.
I'm eloquent.
So much.
Yeah.
So much grace.
He's
but
eloquent.
I say use it to expand, not to escape. I think is something you're really going to have to look into.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like I was saying, I would say that I'm excited, but as you mentioned, Trey, I do have my worries. I think we all have a healthy amount of concern for privacy implications, for societal implications, socialization. The as far as privacy goes, right? The data mining, the biological mining, as again, fingerprint, face, eyes. What's next? You know, are we gonna have the
skin color?
Are we gonna have the apple teeth?
Oh man, pluck a hair out to identify yourself. Yeah.
Right. The Google wig.
Damn, Dad.
You know them ladies in the line for that one already.
HTC butt lift.
Dang.
Automatically make it bounce.
Track those cheeks in real time. No,
I'm telling you, the hub. I got the hub on the brain, guy. Doing double duty since Utah camp.
Nah, you know what's really next? You get them Lucy Lubots.
Oh my gosh,
that's
Lucy
really what's
Lubots.
next. You're gonna get them Lucy Lubots that they had on Futurama. If you ain't know, look it up.
If you know, you know. All right, guys, that's a good place to stop. Man, this was a great conversation, man. Like I'm glad that we talked about this again, the excitement for the future, and to see something implemented so well. Can't wait to see what they do next. I just hope again we don't sell too much of ourselves for the sake of entertainment. We might already that ship may have already sailed. So you can find us at Comm Sense Media on Instagram as a brand. Sorry, Comm Sense Media on Twitter. It's Comm Sense Media. Me personally at E Can Talk on both, and now on Discord. I got a unique username, so if you want to chat with me, don't spam me. I will block you.
Check me on at Marshall on Mics on the Twitter, at Marshall on Mics 3 on the IG. And just know, stay tuned to Wave of the Future to stay on top of all things future. All right, my guys?
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm on Discord, and I'm also under a rock, so that's about it.
That's because you rock.
Yeah.
All right, well, until next time, y'all. Peace in the middle.